arrived. I'm Jim Clotter, the director of the Kentucky Historical Society, and on behalf of our Chancellor, Governor Jones, our Executive Committee, our Cabinet Secretary, Sherry Jelsma, the Legislature, the Judiciary, and the Society's President, Dr. Riley, I want to welcome you to the groundbreaking ceremonies for the Kentucky History Center of the Kentucky Historical Society, and to thank you, a great crowd, for being here. And also, I think we need to thank the Western Hills Jazz Ensemble who provided some music at the beginning. This is a red letter date in the history of Kentucky's history, because it shows that this Commonwealth does value the importance of preserving its past and of taking this history into the 21st century, into our future. And to provide some words of welcome on this project, a project that's for all the state, are two people who've aided us very much in the capital city and in this county. First, Mayor Houston Wells, and then following him, County Judge Executive Bob Arnold. Mayor Wells.
We do want to welcome you. It was just a little over a year ago, and it was a little warmer weather. In the summer, we stood in front of the old Capitol, and we held up signs, Governor, and we said, "Build the History Center, build the History Center." And I need to be pinched because it doesn't seem like it's really happening yet. This is a project from Ashland to Paducah, from Maysville to Jenkins, from Bowling Green to Frankfort, and all over the state of Kentucky. It is a project that's happened because everyone in this great state pulled together and saw the importance of history. And because of that, the legislators heard your voice. They realized what was needed, and we're standing here, or sitting here today, and we're about to break ground on one of the most historical events in the state of Kentucky. We are so proud to have the Kentucky History Center in the heart of Kentucky, Frankfort. Welcome, thank you for being here, and this is a great event, not just for this community, but for the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and we're proud and honored to be the state capital. Thank you.
I too, as County Judge of Franklin County, it gives me a great deal of pleasure during the year of the 200th celebration of Franklin County's birth, for us to welcome you here to not only have the groundbreaking of a building, but of an institution. Of something to remember Henry Clay and Cassius Clay, to remember Casey Jones and Brereton Jones. And while we're talking about the Joneses, there are a lot of people that need to be thanked for this project to be able to come to fruition. But for my 2 cents, the person we really need to thank is Libby Jones. It's her tenacity and stick-with-itness is the thing that is the reason we're here today, and I'd like to thank you, First Lady Ms. Jones. We want to welcome all of you to the capital city. This is your capital city. We feel like that this has always been a project not for Frankfort and Franklin County, but a project for Kentucky. This is something that we all can look forward to visit, to learn about our past, and to dream about our futures. And this is a perfect example that shows that the only reason for government to exist is to serve people. And this is a place that we can house all of those happenings. Thank all of you for coming to our groundbreaking today.
Thank you, Mayor Wells and Judge Arnold. Following the speaker's introduction that I'm getting ready to make, our Cabinet Secretary, Sherry Jelsma, who has been a friend of this project and of history, will then introduce the governor immediately thereafter. As for this speaker, I think we've all heard people who say the speaker needs no introduction and then goes into a very lengthy introduction. But every one of us here, I think, everyone who's interested in history, knows our next speaker very well. We've been introduced to him in person, through his books, through his deeds for decades. And he is the first Kentucky Historian Laureate for life. He is first in our historical hearts. And this project owes him so much, but really our state owes him a much greater debt. And so, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming our very special person on this, a very special day, Dr. Thomas D. Clark.
Thank you. Dr. Clotter, Governor and Mrs. Jones, Secretary Delsma, and all the rest of you who are important. If we can just keep these Jones boys out of locomotives and off of horses, we'll get along very well in this colony. This is a happy day, not for us as individuals in this audience. This is a happy day. We have kept the faith, we've kept the promise, we've kept the challenge. Those Kentuckians, literally hundreds of thousands of them who've gone before us. We've said, we know that the history of this Commonwealth is significant. In the lives of every Kentuckian, whether he be a Kentuckian of the past, a Kentuckian of the moment, of the future. This is a moment in which we come to say in positive, constructive terms that we are proud of the heritage of this Commonwealth. And I want to pay tribute to that gallant lady who led legislators through that gummy mess in this storage house where the prestige, the heritage of Kentucky lies gathering dust and every other sort of thing that you can imagine. Libby Jones. She not only carried members of the General Assembly in where they could see the mess, they could smell it, they could get it on their hands, and their feet literally got stuck to the floor. I also want to recognize Senator Eck Rose. I'm just completing a history of Clark County, and I don't know whether I'm going to be able to go back in Clark County or not. I don't think I've got insurance right at the moment. The morning that I went over and talked to Eck, and we had a father and son conversation, I felt like Ducky Drake said when he shook Wendell Wilkes' hand. I felt sanctified. This is a proud state. It has a noble history. A history that reaches far beyond the geographical boundaries of this Commonwealth. We're a mother state. We have obligations not only to our citizens, but to those people who have their roots or their background in this area. And we're saying to them that we're keeping the faith. History is significant. We could not live without it. It's one of the positive forces in holding civilization together and directing the course in which civilization will take in the future. Understanding what courses it has followed in the past. The record of this state and 1995 is safer than it's ever been in the history of the Commonwealth. I have no less loyalty to this society when I tell you that we have come light miles away with this wonderful archival authority that we have established and operate in this state. And we must do, and we will do, in this new facility for the private sector of this state. We'll accept the records, we'll collect them, we'll collect the artifacts, we'll bring them out of that mess they're in at the moment, we'll dust them off, we'll display them, and we will tell the people what Kentucky's been about during its entire scope of history. When we lift the dirt this morning, break ground for the establishment of this wonderful structure that will occupy this ground, we do more than just simply lifting a bit of the soil of Kentucky. We're paying tribute, we're saluting the past, we're paying tribute to the present, and we're expressing a fond hope that the future civilization of Kentucky will have a sound rooting, a sound future, and most of all, a very sound understanding of its past and of its heritage. When we use these words, the Kentucky heritage, from now on they'll have much more substance than they've ever had in the past. This is a moment when we're saying to every man, woman, and child, from one end of this Commonwealth to the other, that you count. You are a factor in the history of this Commonwealth. In the early part of the 19th century, when that group met and organized the Kentucky Historical Society, they were a rather exclusive group. They undertook to pay tribute to those people who were the front runners in the development of this Commonwealth. Today, when we lift dirt for the construction of this building, we're saying loud and clear that we are democratizing the processes of history. This is a facility for every Kentuckian, who has roots in this Commonwealth. And to the nation, we're saying that we recognize that we're a fundamental part in that great pattern of national expansion and the ongoing national process of American history. Thank you.
On behalf of the Education, Arts, and Humanities Cabinet, welcome to this long-anticipated and very glorious occasion. It's my privilege today to introduce Governor Jones, but first I too want to address someone who's very, very special to all of us and probably very special to Governor Jones. Without the commitment and dedication of Libby Jones to the History Center, we really would not be here today. Her commitment to developing a building that would blend with the character of this neighborhood, the existing residential character of this neighborhood, to ensure the dignity of the old governor's mansion would be intact. Her commitment to design a new building that would enhance Frankfort, not jangle or clash with its historical character. She sat with us through long meetings on cold winter snows. Actually, we couldn't even get out one night. And she led us in the design of a structure that will both serve the people and preserve the character of your neighborhood. And for all those hours, Libby, for your vision and for your leadership, we thank you. The History Center project proudly claims Governor Jones as its champion. He's a governor who sees the people's vision very clearly, even through the fogs that must have enveloped Franklin for 200 years, and certainly we're here today. A governor who holds as his bottom line the needs of the people. He's reduced unemployment to new lows, brought new jobs to Kentucky, spearheading reform in health care, education, campaign finance, and efficiency of government. He is always able, with all this going on, to find a place for the dreams of the people. Many thought this project would never happen. We might have a convention center in northern Kentucky or in Jefferson County, but never a history center. We might have the state parks renovation, but never a history center. But our governor does not take no for an answer. The word can't is not in his vocabulary. Many of us know that only too well, those of us that work for him. He placed the History Center and the 2 convention centers on the special session call. The History Center passed with the greatest majority. And as we write history, it will include the Kentucky History Center. And the record will show that it was Governor Jones who never gave up. Despite political advice, and we had the naysayers at their very best, Governor Jones ramrodded the History Center through the General Assembly in true Kentucky style. Ladies and gentlemen of Kentucky, I give you a leader who really makes things happen, who brings our dreams to reality, your Governor, Brereton C. Jones.
Sherry, that might be the strongest introduction I've ever gotten. Unbelievable. Well, as you know by now, I am Libby Jones's husband. And that is my proudest accomplishment. We all know what a tremendously special day this is, and we have all of us as a team worked so hard to make this happen, and everyone deserves an equal amount of credit for this fabulous thing. I could start right now looking through the audience, and I will not make the mistake of beginning and leave some people out. But there are many of you sitting out here and standing out there that I can see right now that have played such a major role that without your involvement, this never would have happened. I have lived most of my life with a philosophy that says that when you have logic and reason on your side and you never give up, that you eventually win. Sometimes that never give up part gets to be tough. But if you have logic and reason on your side and never give up, you do eventually win. But it also helps, along with logic and reason, if you've got Tom Clark on your side. And it helps if you have Ned Breathitt on your side. Ned Breathitt, who is out of the country right now, or he would be here. What a fabulous job he has done. And he has proven time and time again that you don't have to be an elected official in order to help people, in order to make things happen. He's accomplished more as an ex-governor than many governors throughout history accomplished in a 4-year term. And in his absence, I think we should give him a round of applause. Obviously, the Kentucky Historical Society deserves dramatic credit for what has gone on, from Joe Ferguson through Dick Frymire to Tom Riley, as well as all of the legislators who voted for this project. It took a true team effort. Now, I don't want to lessen the quality of the day by talking about economics, but one thing that I think is very important, because we have to constantly work on how we're going to create more jobs in this state, how we're going to be able then to get more money to make investments, to make things happen, to give us the kind of education system we need, to give us the kind of healthcare system we need, to make things work without raising taxes to get that money. And it comes through creating jobs and opportunities. And the economic numbers of what we are doing here today are very significant. Right now, in Franklin County and Frankfort, the money that comes in from tourism is approximately $5 million a year that tourists spend in Frankfort and Franklin County. The prediction is that with this History Center, that will triple to $15 million, that it will create approximately 200 extra jobs as that money turns over and over and over again in the economy. So I think that's important. But of course, the most important part has been articulated far better than I can articulate it by Dr. Thomas Clark. What this means to those young people that are seated out there, and what it means to their children and to their grandchildren, how we are able to defend and preserve the history of this Commonwealth, because no longer will our history languish unseen in a distillery warehouse. No longer will our history be endangered daily. No longer will we have to answer harsh questions about our commitment to the past, because we are committed to the past so that that commitment can give us a vision for the future. And it is through that vision that we will lead future generations to even greater glory. Thank you for being here today.
Governor Jones, Secretary Jelsma, Dr. Clark, we've said thank you many times, but we all say again, thank you very much for everything. It's now time to begin the project and to break ground. Now, given all the people who've worked so hard on this project, we probably have hundreds of people up here breaking ground on it today. It starts with those society presidents that were mentioned. It starts with our staff who are all around here. It starts with the legislators. And I'd like to ask the legislators who are present to either stand up or to wave their hands if they're already standing so we can recognize them as well. Several of them over here I know as well. I think every single one of us can take pride in this building because we know that it would not have happened without the work of all the people that are here. And this really is your building, after all. And to do the honors today are 7 of those people. Representative Richards, who's on the program call and could not be with us today. But those 7 people represent all of us, in a sense. There's 7 people who've worked very hard for this project. There's 7 people who've shown their support for the Commonwealth over and over again. And the shovels are now ready for them. So I'd like to ask them to go over to the site and grab a shovel as I call their names. Governor Jones, Libby Jones, Senator Eck-Rose, Secretary Jelsma, Secretary Llewellyn, Dr. Riley, and Dr. Clark. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us now for refreshments. Remember to leave your calendars free in early 1998 when we'll have a grand opening on another grand day for Kentucky. Again, stay a while, enjoy the good food.